Hello and welcome to SLC's Lockdown Countdown. So it's day 26. We're really close to the end of the official lockdown, depending on which tier you're moving into. But the official lockdown on the 2nd of December is coming our way. And today I am joined by James O'Leary, who is the Global Head of Destination Marketing at Skyscanner. So welcome, James.
Hi, how are you doing, Kate?
Good. So thank you so much for joining us. We're really keen to have Skyscanner talk to us, because if you have a really different perspective to many of our other guests that we've had, it must be a really fascinating place to work this year, because you have so much insight into how the consumer's feeling. I mean, through search trends, you must really be able to see how they're reacting to headlines and in terms of travel restrictions, the vaccine, how the consumer confidence is taking sort of turns and going up and down. And I know that you've done huge amounts to kind of gather that data and to share it through a number of webinars, reports and so on. And I would love to ask you a bit about it now and sort of see where we're at and what's coming out on top at the moment.
Yeah, sure. So I think if we go back to the kind of early days, well, of the European lockdown, if you want to call it that way, being a global business, we knew, because we could see in our teams in APAC, from Australia back all the way back to the UK, gradually over time, it became very clear there was going to be a serious issue. So we were almost, prepared for it, but you're never prepared for it until it hits. And yeah, it really did kind of, as we've seen, take everyone for a long time to kind of get their heads around what was going on, really. So in terms of like what we started doing, we have loads of search data, like you said. We can see everything down to minutiae details across lots of different product verticals, for destinations, for partners, and so on. But the thing that was really missing, which we realized very quickly, was actually the health of the industry is not just judged by the search behavior and the booking behavior, it's the sentiment of travelers. So that's what we really doubled down on. So I think we've spoken to now over 250,000 travelers over the past few months, and we do it every week, asking them the same questions to see, how has their sentiment improved, decreased, across a wide range of topics that we and our partners want to know about on the industry. What travelers were telling us for a very long time is they're too scared to travel, that one of the most important things now that they actually search for before they even consider going is, if they're considering to go somewhere, what's the quality of the healthcare? Is there a hospital nearby the property or the place where they're going to stay? That's obviously a new consideration. Wanting to know before they commit to booking anywhere what the COVID restrictions are, which obviously are changing on an hourly, daily, minute by minute basis sometimes, usually on a Friday afternoon, which I've heard a lot of people talk about with some disdain here and in other places in the industry. So what we've done from that perspective is actually realize we actually need to enable our travelers with some data. So actually, rather than just talking to our audience of partners and ourselves, we've also integrated that information into the Skyscanner booking flow. So you can search on Skyscanner and it will tell you what's your quarantine experience, if there is one, on the way there and on the way back. So the traveler's making a really informed decision. What we've seen in the last few weeks with the vaccine news is not just green shoots, but a complete switch around in what people are searching for and when. We were seeing very short lead times. What we've seen then is a swing from negative growth for next year in terms of the forward-looking search profile, from, say, I don't know, one week of destination being 50% down. For the whole of next year, it's now looking in positive territory, whichever day you look at that data. So January through to December, from negative to positive in the matter of days. It's not until people commit to booking that that's going to bear any economic impact. But it's chalk and cheese different to what it was from a few weeks ago, which is really great to see. And we'll continue to monitor that as well.
No, it definitely sounds like a good news story is starting to emerge, and you've probably seen graphs going up and down all year with the sort of, you get glimmers of hope and down. So fingers crossed this is sort of an upward-looking trend from now on. Sure. So you have a huge network of tourist boards, destination marketeers, and your feed just must be filled with sort of creative content all the time. But is there anything that's come out of this year? And this could be anything from sort of a procedure or a safety requirement or a creative campaign that sort of really caught your eye in terms of innovation?
Yeah, I think there's actually one destination I've been quite impressed with, I have to say, and the way they knitted their story together to over a period of time, and that would be Dubai. And I think Dubai were one of the first destinations to really truly grasp the health and safety angle to this. Not just the trust and the empathy that they put out that they've actually put out in their first communications. It was that health and safety element. Whereas I do feel some destinations were slower on that. They caught up quite quickly. But what I was really impressed with is the way, because they grasped that early on, they were able to move into phases further down the recovery path than others were. Yeah. And that is now showing benefits, and has been for the last few months. And therefore they made sure that travellers were had the confidence to travel there, and they gave a really comprehensive view, very efficiently and very effectively, about the kind of support that a traveller could expect. And that is the level of, from our data and our research, that is the level of detail travellers are going to need and are wanting right now. And I think that's a lesson to everybody. The interesting thing I've been seeing recently, actually, as well, is around from an airline's perspective, and there's some of these COVID-free flights and the efforts the airports and the airlines are going to try and learn as quickly as possible what's the most effective way of ensuring COVID safety at airports and in the air. And I think there's lots of tests I'm seeing, like Virgin and United Airlines, and I believe British Airways are too. And that's really great to see. Not wanting to be political, but there should be a bit more coordination and support there from governments, maybe. It shouldn't just be left to the private sector to support that and enable that. But I am really impressed with a lot of the work the industry's put in around that. It's been very, very professional. Yeah.
And so that segues nicely actually onto my final question, talking about airlines and their network. If all borders were open and COVID was being contained and the vaccine was there, where would you go? Where would you jet off to first?
So the last place I went on holidays where I go back to, which was Australia. I'm of the view, if I'm going to travel again, the next time I'll travel, I might as well go big or go home. So I would very much like to go back to Australia, not only just because I have lots of friends that live there, and I'd love to visit them and see their kids and stuff, and everyone growing up and getting on with their lives there. But it's just my favourite destination. Yeah. And if I'm going to fly, Europe, 3 hours to Europe, and somewhere in Europe, I might as well fly for a day and go to Australia. Certainly missing the air miles a little bit than I was this time last year. I'm a bit poorer in that area now, which is not small first world problems, I know, but definitely Australia. I'm probably for a month, if my boss will allow it. If you're watching, Jenny, I would love to have a month off if that's possible.
And not to be biased, but obviously Western Australia is where you'll be headed.
As I'm always told by you and Ellen, it is the cheapest entry point to Australia in the market, and you are correct. And now that's probably where I would go, because I haven't been to the western side for a very long time.
There you are. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, James, for joining us and sharing all of that. It is very, very interesting to hear from the view of Skyscanner, who really is able to share those data and insights, which is so important, I think, to kind of building the confidence within the industry and putting together plans for the future to recover. So, thank you very much for everything you're doing, and we hope that you get to your Australian destination soon.
I'll be looking for tickets in January like everybody else.
Indeed. Right, thank you very much.
Thanks.